Welcome and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Roush. I am your own personal sales maven here to offer you tips and strategies and techniques to master your sales conversation. Today, we're going to be talking about how to retain clients when budgets are tight. So all about sales strategies that work in these particular situations. So have you noticed that some of your existing clients may be starting to pull back from working with you because their budgets are tightening? So whether you're working with businesses or whether you're working with end consumers, you may find this in your business. And I want to say to you, you are absolutely not alone. This is common. This is something I'm hearing over and over and over again from many of my clients that are having this experience. And it's from all different industries in, all different price points. People are tightening their belts, right? They're getting really tight as far as spending money. So I just want to reassure you first and foremost that you're not alone. I'm seeing it in my own business as well. And I'm definitely seeing it with client business. So just remember that first and foremost, you haven't done anything wrong. This is just an opportunity for you to get strategic and really think about and prepare that these conversations are probably going to be happening. And are you prepared of what you're going to say when they do come up? Being prepared, it allows you to go into these conversations with a very different level of confidence. And so you don't feel caught off guard and you don't respond in a way that might actually break rapport. We want to keep the rapport intact. We want to send the message that we can adapt and that we are flexible and that we're here to serve the client. Now, the next thing I want to remind you is that in sales, your job is not to convince people and it's not to chase people. It's really about adding some flexibility to your behavior, adding some flexibility to your approach to keep the client engaged, to continue to earn their business, to continue to deepen rapport and build long-term lasting relationships, because this really is how you will scale your business. Is we don't want to always be searching for the next client. When we've got somebody here working with us or somebody who has the experience of working with us and has paid us money, when possible, we want to continue to earn their business because that just increases lifetime value of that client. So just something to be thinking about. So really kind of where I'm going with this is when I talk about being prepared, is you thinking about, do you have a downsell offer for your existing client base when they come to you, or if they come to you? I hope it's an if and not a when, but it's probably a when they come to you and say that they need to take a step back or that they can't continue with the monthly coaching package or with the retainer package. What are you going to say to them? And this is where I think having a downsell offer is super impactful. Now, I've talked about downsell offers before. I know I mentioned it in episode 115. I've talked about it in episode 237, talking about, overcoming objections, having an upsell, having a downsell. So if downsell is new language to you, it's really just that less expensive option. And sometimes this is a really important option to keep in your back pocket. Just because you have a downsell offer doesn't mean you need to advertise it to everybody. Doesn't mean you need to go and create a page on your website about it or send out email marketing about it if you want to, for sure. But you don't necessarily have to. Sometimes it's nice to just have that back pocket. I can pull it out in a conversation to allow the client to continue to get support on some level so that you can continue to serve them and help them tighten their budget, help them cut back some of their expenses when they need to. Now, again, having it in your back pocket doesn't mean that you go out and shout it from the rooftops. You don't have to tell every single client about it. It's really just for you, again, from a confidence level, when you find yourself in these conversations, that you have something to offer and something to say. I find a lot of times that clients get themselves in a situation where they feel stunned. They're not sure what to say. So they just kind of go, okay. They end the conversation Then they come and hire me and work with me and go like, well, what should I have said? And I'm like, well, we need to have a downsell offer. We need to have something that we can say in those situations. Being prepared is so important. And that's really why I'm bringing this episode to you today, is because for me, it's all about you showing up as your most confident, authoritative, expert self in these conversations. So first and foremost, having a downsell and how to respond allows for you to keep your level of professionalism, allows you to stay confident, and allows you to stay kind. So you're not stunned. You're not like defensive. You're just ready. You're ready for the conversation. Okay. So here's an example of a language that I gave to a client recently where she normally sells a package, right? Somebody buys a package of sessions with her and she never sells a single session. Now she doesn't sell a single session because in her mind, clients are going to get value by having multiple sessions. Totally get that, totally understand, and that makes sense. However, I always give this example of like, if you always have to have the whole pizza and eat the whole pizza, like then sometimes people are going to opt out. But if you offer them a slice of pizza, they might say, yeah, okay, I'll continue with the slice of pizza for now. And maybe when things are in a better position or when I can take on more, I'll have a second slice. And maybe at some point they go back to buying the whole pizza from you. But if it's either the whole pizza or nothing, this is where I sometimes go like, wait, can we offer them a slice? Because having something, continuing to like earn their business is so important. So think about if somebody is continuing to work with you, even when they've cut back, even when their budget is tight, when things get better, you're probably going to be the person who is on the receiving end of the better, the more work that's going to come your way because you were still in the process with them. You're still a part of their team, as it were, of whatever it is that they're looking to achieve in their life or in their business. So when possible, you want to stay on the team. Now you need to make the decision that makes sense for your business. I'm certainly not suggesting that you do anything that's going to lose you money. And I'm not really even talking about discounting your prices. What I'm talking about is continuing to offer some level of a service without it being an all or nothing. That's a very NLP thing, right? Is that sometimes people get into this all or nothing thinking, and it's very limiting, and it will limit your business, and it will limit your opportunity to earn repeat business from that client, if their only option is the whole pizza or no pizza. Obviously, it's getting close to lunchtime here. I'm thinking about pizza. But I want you to be thinking about what could you offer as your downsell? What could be a way for you to continue to support the client on some level? Doesn't have to be what they were getting at a discounted price. I don't mean that. Doesn't mean the full, like you get the full pizza, but you get it for half price. That's not necessarily what I'm suggesting here. It's more about like, what's the slice? What could you offer? So if you normally sell a package that's multiple sessions because you know they're going to get the best, results from that, can you offer a one-off session? So instead of meeting with you 3 times a month, maybe they meet with you once a month. Or instead of, again, re-upping for 3 sessions, could they just re-up for 1 session at a time? Just while things are tight for them, because you can continue to earn the business. So I always think about a downsell as a micro commitment. It's so great to have a micro commitment from somebody versus it's all or nothing. Because again, you have the opportunity to continue to earn that business and maybe additional business when things are better for them financially. So what can you do? Now, one of the things you want to do, again, to show up confident, kind, and professional is to reassure them that they are still going to be getting value from you. So you might say, something like, if again, using this example of the 1 session versus multiple sessions, you might say sometimes a single session is more affordable and it is exactly what someone needs just so that they can continue to have clarity, see results, and continue to move forward in achieving XYZ, whatever it is they've said they want to achieve. Like sometimes it's just that one step at a time that will help get you there. I always think about the compound effect. Do you know that book, The Compound Effect, where they say, I think it's like, would you rather have a penny to start with on the first day of the month and knowing that it's going to continue to double every day for the next, I think it's like 30 days, or would you rather have $1 million? Now, most people go like, oh, I'd rather have $1 million. But realistically, with a compound effect, it's like, oh, well, tomorrow it's 2 cents, then it's 4 cents. And then it just continues to double and double and double and double and double, right? Throughout the 30 days. And at the end, you actually have more. So this is why this idea of a micro commitment is maybe a good idea for you to continue to support your clients, continue to stay engaged with them, and for them to continue to see the value in what they get when they work with you. It's not about giving up. It's about staying in the game. And really, that is so important. So the other thing that I want to say here from a strategy is don't be afraid of checking in with clients. Be proactive about this. Sometimes we wait. We just want to be reactive. Like, oh, I'm going to wait until this person tells me that they want to quit before I offer them something. You can be a little bit proactive. You can check in with a client and see, how are things going for you? How are you feeling about the level of commitment or the program as it stands right now? Like, open the door to have the conversation. I don't mean like go and say to them like, hey, if you don't like what you're paying, I'll give you a less expensive option. Like, that's not what I'm saying, but be willing to check in with clients too and find out like, how are we doing? Is this still aligned with your goals? And is this still working for you? Like, asking those kind of questions opens the door for them to say what's going on for them, or to be really candid or honest with you about how they're feeling or what struggles they're having. It's okay. And again, because you have planned ahead for this and you're going to be able to keep your composure intact, your confidence intact, your professionalism intact, you're ready for that conversation to happen. You were proactive in making it happen. And all of that's okay. Now, if it's really not a good fit, if you don't have something that is going to continue to meet some version of their need at a price point that works for them, also be willing to bless and release and leave the door open and invite them to come back when things change. And let them know that you'll stay in touch with them from time to time if that makes sense. Now, if it's somebody just making you feel like, oh, your stuff is too expensive and we would never pay for that, well, again, this is an opportunity maybe to bless and release, because some of that gets into your mindset too, right? Like, gets into your head, makes you think like, oh, well, now nobody can afford me or nobody finds value in what I do. That's not true. That's just not true. And don't let yourself get into that like negative spiral. Be willing to just be prepared and see what happens. Stay curious, stay open, and have a downsell offer. Have a downsell offer. That's really kind of the whole point of this particular episode for you, is to be thinking about what is your downsell offer. Now, if you need some help creating your downsell offer, like let's work on it together. And if working with me privately feels like that's too big of a commitment or too big of a financial ask for you right now, I have options for you. I have the Sales Maven Society. This is a very inexpensive way for you to get coaching from me. I do 2 live coaching calls a month in that group. You can come ask your question. You don't even have to stay for the whole session. Come ask your question and leave. If you're like, not only do I not have the money, but I don't have the time, like, come get your question answered, get coached specifically to you, and then you can be out of there. You can certainly stay, of course, and hear everybody else's questions. There's huge value in that, but it's up to you, right? Like, I have options for you. If you need options, I have them. I also offer a spotlight coaching session. Like, that is one of my downsell offers. You won't see it on my website, but it's a 15-minute session with me, and it's a less expensive version than a full-on strategy session. And I can do a ton for people and coach in that 15-minute session that we have together. I have some great testimonials from clients that have had it. Like, what's your option? So I'm just kind of throwing out some things for you. Sometimes it's like maybe they don't go through the whole, like your full 12-week program, but is there a piece of your 12-week program that you could pull out and have it be a 1-week version or a 2-week version or a 3-week version? Be flexible, especially right now, considering what's going on. I think for people in their businesses and in their lives and in our economy and in our, current state of affairs, be flexible and be proactive, because that really is going to make the difference in how you approach these conversations and how you show up as the best version of yourself, which of course is what I'm cheering you on for. All right. Thank you for listening. I'm wishing you continued success in all that you're doing, and have a great rest of your day.